One of the characters that surprised and charmed me the most in Street Fighter V is the rebellious, revolutionary character Ed. However, I'm doing a different analysis from everyone else when it comes to Ed. I'm looking at his themes of rebellion and identity. I'll be talking about Falk as well for a bit, but first let's accustom ourselves to Ed origins. If you already know this, then I'll give you a timestamp of when to skip to.
Making the most of the chaos from Shadowloo's fall, I went around and released a bunch of the other test subjects, just like me. I wasn't looking to make friends or anything, but I wanted to give them a taste of freedom, like I'd had. I knew, though, the moment I first met them, I knew something had brought all of us together. A deeper connection. Friends, team, partners, bonds, whatever you want to call it. There was something between us that only we could understand. And that kept us together. We knew that there were still more of us out there, though. And there was only one thing for us to do. We split up, searching for others just like us. But Shadowloo had a ton of those messed up hideouts all over the place. It wasn't gonna be easy. No doubt we'll have to take care of the trash left over from Shadowloo's fall along the way. Guess the ties that bind aren't so easily severed. Even in death.
Ed was rescued by Balrog from SIN, a small group of Shadowloo members who handled Bison's spare body, during which they were having a rebellion from Shadowloo, in which they were trying to make their own Bison. Much like Seth, Ed is a clone body of Bison, or at least that's what we thought until Street Fighter 6, where Ed tells us Shadowloo actually kidnapped people for their experiments. Shadowloo told people they had a mysterious illness sending people to hospitals that they owned. From men, women, children, and even animals, Shadowloo experimented with them so much that most of them forgot who they were. Cut to Street Fighter V, the child Balrog stole from SIN is now a teenager helping Balrog screw people over for their biggest buck out of his own free will. Eventually though, Shadowloo fell thanks to Ryu and everyone's effort. Balrog and Ed leaves the burning corpse of Shadowloo with no qualms. Of course, Ed wasn't truly free from Bison. His body would go through rapid aging due to all the experimentation done on him in the past, forcing him to have Balrog of all people take care of him. Ed would also experience nightmares of Bison trying to claim his body. Maybe it's due to Ed's fear of what his body been made for, or Bison's presence might still exist in this world and is trying to come back. We don't actually know the answer. It could be either or. One day, Ed finally broke free from these nightmares though, but would also have a fight with Balrog, causing the two to go their separate ways. Now independent with his own new form of freedom, Ed will liberate others harmed by Shadowloo, eventually creating a group known as Neo Shadowloo with the goal of cleaning up the mess that Shadowloo left behind.
What the hell was I thinking? Man, if you were this strong, I didn't need to go rescue you. You could have easily escaped by yourself.
9, Ed. If it wasn't you who came to my rescue, I can only assume I would have rotted away in that nightmare.
Damn it! That last round sucked! Let's have one more match!
I know, Ed. There are more people who you have to rescue.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people out there who are just like us. Somewhere. I need to rescue them. So that's why I have to become stronger. Much, much stronger than I am right now.
Yeah, I understand, Ed. Let's become stronger together.
Balrog and Falk are the two most important people that gave Ed his current form of identity. Balrog has always been a self-serving person, even betraying Bison in every game, including Cross Tekken. In Street Fighter 2, Balrog beat Bison for fight money. In Street Fighter 3, Balrog tried to steal whatever plan that Bison is trying to do. Which, fun fact, that is actually a canon ending. That Balrog actually does it, and then Bison still keeps him in the company. And the main reason is because he just likes conflict. Which makes sense when you know that psycho power is fueled by negative energy. So, Balrog, being the type of person he is a constant force of negative energy. Heck, while Ed see Balrog as a father figure and say Balrog didn't view him as an asset but as a person, he definitely saw him as an asset. Balrog picked up the child at Street Fighter 4 not because of anything like goodwill or something like that, but because he saw money, potential in money. However, that wasn't the same after so long, after the two lived together for so long. Eventually, Balrog grew to respect Ed as an equal, and Balrog barely does that for anyone really. Being raised by Balrog taught Ed that he doesn't owe the world, Bison, or anyone a thing. And selfishness isn't a bad thing inherently. In fact, people need to learn to be self-reliant on themselves. They need strong self-identity. And the strongest person with self-identity is actually Balrog. He knows that he's a punny puncher and he knows he's that greedy person. But deep down, a lot of people need to know who they are at their core. And Ed wasn't going to learn that from anyone else without them trying to take advantage of him. And Balrog was just a person who helped both him and Ed helped him. While with Falk, she gave Ed the knowledge that helping others isn't a weakness, nor is needing help, nor is kindness. Falk is a kind person and a strong person. She just needed a small push, and that's really it. And that is the core of what she represents for Ed. That one thing of being weak doesn't correlate to kindness or goodness. It just means a strong will. But seeing people like Falk actually made him realize that he should go on a quest to liberate others, and why he became so caring of other people like him.
There has to be someone else like me running around out there.
What's eating you, kid?
It's just... if we stick together, you're gonna get hurt one of these days.
You're too weak to hurt me. Chumps like you should shut up and follow orders.
I ain't no chump! You'd be up a creek without me!
That ain't bad, kid. I'm gonna show you that you still got a lot to learn.
Let's talk a bit about music. Ed Theme, also known as the Theme of Ed, is a rap song by Daniel Lindholm and Caleb Combe. Daniel has said that this song is a perspective from Ed about his short lifespan and how he isn't a perfect man. But there's more to it than that. It being one of two character themes having lyrics. Where Rashid's theme is to emphasize how much of an outsider and how much he wanted other people to know him, Ed's theme is a rejection of Street Fighter norms, forcing people to witness Ed as Ed. The difference between the two themes is that one is very much in your face, being theme of Ed, while the other is very inviting. Rashido's theme only started having the chorus say his name after a good amount of time, whereas Ed's theme doesn't actually take that much long before the lyrics start to kick in. This is probably the only chance I will get talking about Street Fighter 6 Ed theme, Kogane Odo Fela. This song is sung by a German rapper of Japanese descent named Blumio. Some of you may know him, but he kind of went underground for a bit after the 2010s. He eventually came back just to do Ed theme, but I think he might also be doing more songs now. I'm not completely sure. But he's famous for writing conscious raps that talk about social problems. It's a song about how people constantly force roles onto Ed and make him feel weak, and how his strength is the only thing that determines if he'll be the doll to play with or the king to rule. One big thing about the reception towards Ed was people's thoughts, and some people still do, that Ed was to be the next Bison or Balrog, when in fact, he was never meant to be that. While Ed's official outfit in Street Fighter V somewhat suggests that having both reference to these characters, Ed plasters who he is all over those references. Ed simply wears his origin on his sleeves as a way of showing of who he is, as well as a refusal of running from his past. I won't really get a chance to talk about this, but another form of rebellion is Drew Falk. Falk identity is Drew Goth. She is very much into Goth culture and Goth fashion. And Goth was a form of, well, one, rejecting normal identity as well as accepting a non-normal identity. One that is much more darker, yet can be fun in its own way. This isn't like your usual teenage rebellious phase. Goth is a natural thing, and that is something that Street Fighter V explored with Falk. This is, of course, another way he rebels against Bison. Ed ultimately in Street Fighter V is trying to express his identity and reject any identity put on him. He isn't going to be the villain some people want him to be, nor will he be the dirty boxer like Balrog. Ed will be Ed.
Bring it! You don't know when to quit. Told you I don't want anything to do with you losers. Get lost! Show up again and I'll punch a hole through you.
So, if Street Fighter V is a rebellion against a forced identity, Street Fighter 6 is a revolution against a forced role. In Street Fighter 6, Ed traveled the world going to old Shadowloo bases, liberating those inside that were harmed by Shadowloo. Along the way, Ed sees something that he wasn't able to see before. Exploring the world, he realized that while people may be screwed by the bad lot car that they get, that doesn't determine how they handle their fate. And Ed accidentally stumbled upon this. He may have been given a bad lot of cards, but that doesn't mean that he can't turn something good out of those cards. When he finds remnants of Shadowloo constantly hounding him and even naming his group Neo Shadowloo without his input, he decided to revolutionize the group itself. You may have noticed by now that whenever I use revolution, I mean change, or change the definition of something. Whenever I use liberate, I mean freedom. These are the two things that are very much part of Street Fighter 6 Ed. Ed is about freedom and redefinement. As such, instead of a group that is causing harm to others, Ed now changes Neo Shadowloo to a group that cleans up the mess Shadowloo left behind. Not as an attempt to erase the past, but an attempt to show people that your past can't define you and show yourself to be a triumphant person rather than a tragic one. In life, there's a lot of people who will try to take away your identity, who will try to strip you down to a certain role in life. However, while sometimes you can just only look at all the negatives of a really bad hand, you can also look at it like this. Be a coward and not look for a way out from your bad hand, or be a king and win it all.
All of a sudden, we had a name. They call us Neo Shadowloo. The leftovers of the original Shadowloo are dead set on making me Bison's successor. Then you have punks like JP scheming away in the shadows. But I say, bring it on. If that's their game, then we'll give this Neo Shadowloo thing a go. But we'll run the table. We'll set the rules. If we're doing this, we're doing it my way.